Hey, what's up, everyone? This your boy Freeze coming to you from the Deceptor Lab. And today, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the newest concept that we get in the game, and that's going to be everybody was waiting for it. It's going to be Cyber Pass, or the Transformers Earth Wars version of Battle Pass. And so we finally got it. It's finally here. It went live yesterday. And I didn't want to do a video about it, as with all things, especially being a playtester myself. A lot of times there are little changes that they have within the community, so I wanted to make sure that anything I put out was as accurate as possible. And honestly, man, had a lot of stuff going on over the course of this week, particularly in regards to the YouTube channel. So a couple of things, as far as news is going on with me. One of the things you might have noticed, I had a new intro up here. So I actually got with a graphic designer. I'm gonna later on in the video, later on in the about section, I'll actually put her information out there. But her name is Iman, and she did a fantastic job. I actually have several intros that I'm gonna use throughout the next couple of episodes. And just if you like it, if you think it's nice, I really liked it. But I'm an easygoing guy, so if you like it, just give me a shout out in the comments. Tell me what you think about it, and there'll be another one. It's actually two different versions. I got 3 versions total, so I might just mix it up every now and again. So if you like it, give me some feedback in the comments, or if you are one of my followers on Discord, then give me a shout out there as well. But anyway, today I wanted to talk about just some of the good, the bad, and I was going to say the good, the bad, and the ugly. I tell you what, it's not a whole lot of ugly about Cyber Pass. It's really not. I think it's one of the best things that's happened to the game in a really long time. And I think this first time around, I think it offers a lot of really, really great rewards. So I'm just going to go ahead and go to the game screen, and I'm going to allow you guys to see what it is I'm seeing. All right. So I've already claimed a couple of rewards on mines, and one thing I like about it, so the daily quests, you're going to have daily quests, and those are going to change every 24 hours, and some of the things, it's going to be different for everyone. I think that kind of threw everybody off at first, because they would look at their quest and they would see that, hey, one of my alliance mates, theirs was different, and I know Discord was blowing up with this stuff yesterday, and I had to explain to people, it's like, hey, it's going to be different. So here's how it works. So they have about 7 different batches that they have that rotate around, and so you might see what I have up here, where you got to win 5 battles using at least 3 warriors. That one was actually a little bit more challenging to some people, just because everybody doesn't rely heavily on quite that many warrior class bots. It was actually easy for me, so later on in the video I'll show you the strategy that I'm using. I've been wanting to share it for a little while, but I just kind of got caught up in getting my graphic design stuff working, getting some real life stuff working, and just trying to make the best page we possibly could. So I'll show you that tactic that I was using for the win 5 battles later on. But yeah, like last night I just had destroy 35 defense buildings. And one thing that you'll notice is with the PvP battles, they actually changed a lot of the coloring. And so you can see, like in this case, I got a 32k squad. So the suggested battle zone is going to be the prime zone for them, which I know is accurate because this is my war team that it just showed on the screen. But then, Zone 15, Zone 14, if you go backwards, it's saying that those are normal. And it's saying for a team this strong, everything else is going to call it easy. It's too easy. You shouldn't be going to Zone 1 like a team like this, or any of the zones below 14, really. And so, like, now in this case, I got a 21k squad. So it's saying, you know what? You probably should do Zone 14 for the 19k, but the additional options they give you there are the Zone 13 and Zone 15 as well for the 15 and 25k respectively. I actually can use that particular squad in the prime zone. So that actually caused me some problems at first, because there are going to be battles in the battle pass that they tell you that they want you to fight them in the normal mode. So I took one of them, I went into prime zone, and they was like, nah man, we said do normal, and so the battle didn't count. But that was a little bit frustrating. But you can kind of see some of those things. So and mine's currently has, and for the most part they started off with the Win 40 normal PvP battles. Talking to Dale and some of the other employees over at Space Ape, they wanted to start this out kind of on the challenging side. They wanted to start it a little bit on the harder side. And so one of the things that I'll talk about in a little bit was the reaction that some of the players had to looking at some of these tasks. Now, like 40 normal PvP battles, alright, that's not a big deal to me. I mean, if you see how long the season is, at this point, I now got 30 days and 16 hours, plenty of time to win that amount of battles, right? 50,000 raid points, and then collect ore of 13. So these are a lot of things that you are going to be doing just like, hey man, I play every day. A lot of these things are things that you should be doing normally. Raiding 27,500,000 Z Energon and not Z Energon, excuse me, regular Energon and Alloy, and then something like win 10 normal PvP battles. Now, what's going to happen is weekly they're going to update and add to the challenges that you have in Cyberpass, because I mean honestly, and one of my main concerns from the playtester community was I don't want a Cyberpass that people are going to beat in a day. I don't see that as much fun. I don't see as much value in it. I talked to some of my friends about it once we got the go ahead to kind of talk more about it, and they were like, Freeze, don't say that, man. Like, you gotta make it as easy as possible. And I think that's one of the problems that comes in, is that I think a lot of the stuff, because these are really, really good rewards, and I think a lot of folks got upset initially because they wanted them to come a little bit easier than they probably should come. I mean, and honestly, man, it's not hard. Like, if you play the game on a regular basis, like I play the game on a regular basis, I think that this is appropriate the way that they set this up. There's going to be little quests that get added to it during the seasonal quest, and yeah, I think it's going to be really good for the value you get. So I'm going to talk about some of the good things that I'm seeing with the Battle Pass, and I'm going to go, the first thing obviously is the rewards for the Battle Pass. Now, I kind of stayed up a little bit later last night because I wanted to get ready for the individual event, and so I just started just hitting attack after attack after attack. But so I got all the way over to 500 of my tokens, which you can see up there. I got 530 tokens up there at the top of the Cyberpass screen. But these are some really good prizes, man. So, like, just to start out, so you got two different sections. The bottom section is your free section. So one of the good things that I think about Battle Pass is, hey, Battle Pass is for everybody. I mean, when I go look and they give me 4 of the $500,000 alloy, 500,000 alloy chest. Yeah, I need that. I can, and I tell you what, I'm gonna hoard those because I'm already at HQ 17, and we all know, if we've been listening to Space Ape on their streams, HQ 18's around the corner. So, and I don't know for sure what the costs are gonna be for the upgrade those buildings, but I imagine, based off on how it was for HQ 17, I'd imagine it's going to be pretty outrageous. So I'm hoarding as much alloy and as much energon as I possibly can to prepare myself for that. So even if you're on if you're free to play, they got something for you. You got some XP points, you got some energon chests down there, more alloy chests. But at this point, once you get 300 tokens, you got 10 of the 500,000 alloy chests. That's 5 million of alloy just for playing the game, just for doing things that you always do. Some more XP points. So the prizes aren't as good on free to play, but make no mistake, the prizes up here are pretty good. And down to the point that you're getting, G1 chips, and you're getting a gold G1 chip, but you're getting combat chip shards, which are becoming easier to get. But I've said on the last couple of streams, I think that's one of the resources is the most difficult ones to get in the game. But they're giving you several XP point and power cores, and then 500 5-star shards. I mean, that's about the equivalent of when you win one of the giveaways that Space Ape has on their Discord. So I like it. On free to play, you won't get the season 1 SG skin. Honestly, that's not a big deal for me. I mean, it's cool. It's kind of like if you saw Sunstreaker Waz's stream, earlier in the week, he's kind of saying the same thing, man. He was saying that it's kind of like a bragging rights type thing. Honestly, I don't care that much about the skins, but I do kind of feel like we kind of got gypped a little bit with the War for Cybertron skins, primarily because they just ain't make that many of them, and the sounds of what's going on when I saw Discord this morning, it sounds like they don't plan on making a whole lot of them. And I understand that there was a lot of hype for the Netflix series, but I mean, it's whatever, man. It doesn't have any impact on the game. If they were making skins, and we didn't have something that we could do with them, as far as an impact on the game. If they did have an impact, then I would probably feel a little bit differently. All right, as far as the premium pass, so and I'm speaking from the currency I use. I use the US dollar for my I use the US dollar for my currency, and so it was $9.99 for me to buy this pass. And it's pretty good value. You can see, like, right out the gate, you're getting Titan Beam MK3. Those I think are making a huge comeback now, because we do got Titans on every base, and you need different ways to try to attack them. And so that's always a good nice to have. You get 5 of those just to start out, and then that's the first couple of easy tasks that you really have. And then you get some spark. The ones people are most excited about, so the fuel cell cap increase is a big one. So you get an additional 25. You get an additional 25 fuel cells, and that'll be your max. And that'll be your max throughout the duration of the Cyber Pass season. So right now, I've already got that checked off. So for the next 30 days and 16 hours, I'll be able to top out at 75 fuel cells, which really helps in events, and really helps when you in the events, and it also really helps for like just different things, farming, and you still got other obligations you want to take care of. If you want to go Z farming and you still want to do regular farming, then you have that as an option to help sustain the amount of fuel cells you have. Alright, so you got more battle boost up there, Titan MK3, Combiner Spark, which you always need. The Troop XP increase is another big one. Everybody's excited about that one, just because you can add additional XP per battle, so that's 25% additional, in addition to what you would normally get during the battle, every single battle for the rest of the season. So that was another one that I wanted to hurry up and get, so I can get in these events. So, we're already doing Super XP events primarily, and because I'm doing that and getting the extra 25%, the bots will level a lot faster. So that's a really nice to have. Bot G metal ship. We always like to get bot G metal ships. Later on, they get a building G metal ship. But that combat spark, 250,000 of it. So definitely happy to take that on. I actually used some of mine last night, so I am very poor on combat spark, because I use mine to go take Shroot to level 9, because I took my reflector into ability 11 last night also. So I said, hey, I might as well throw as much at him as I can. But The other thing is, and I meant to talk about that in the news section, but yeah, I finally got another healer last week. So I got another healer. I actually got a 4-star hook. So I was really excited about that because I've been running around with just Reflector and just 4-star and 5-star versions of them and nothing else 4-star above. So really excited for that. Just maybe help with some of the walk teams and everything like that. Building up upgrade skip. My advice for everybody is to save that until you get the if you are already HQ17, save that until you get to HQ18 because those are going to be some expensive upgrades. And honestly, like if they do it the next season, save them. I mean, if you get one this season, save it. Because I feel like those are going to be really expensive, and so if you can get a chance to just skip the upgrade for it, go for it. All right, so let's see. We also got 4-star shards. 1,500 of those. So if you do premium pass, and that's one thing that I didn't mention. If you do the premium pass for, like I said, in my currency, $9.99 US, you get the free pass items and you get the premium pass items, so that becomes a benefit to you. So essentially you just get a 4-star crystal if you get the premium pass and get to the 1,250 tokens. Troop research skip, you'll get one of those. G metal with a troop research skip is a good one too. I'm saving mines, and I tell you what I'm doing. For me, I just got when I did my 5-star opening video, you saw that I got Impactor. Impactor right now, I've got him at about level 54, I believe he's at. So I'm going to do some more power leveling with him and get him up to 60. And I'm going to use that troop research skip so that I don't have to lose Impactor off my war team for an extended period of time. I'll just skip the research and take him up to level 61. So that'll be good. And then, I advise everybody to do the same thing. Use it on your 5-stars. Use it on your guys that are critical to your war team and that you don't want to lose for extended periods of time, and just use a skip for that. All right, we already said G metal G1 core. I'm hoping that I get Scorch finally. I mean, I got the gold one, so I can't complain too bad. But it took me a long time to get that one. I want the G metal. And then I want to max his ability out. So I'm looking forward to see what I get out of that one. Like I said, combat shards, troop ability, upgrade. So I'm using that one. I'm using that one on Impactor also. I got him at ability level number 9 right now. I should pull in enough spark from the next 2 events, and maybe before the next 2 events, but to carry him to level 10, and then I'm going to use that to carry him to ability 11. But I'm advising everybody that if you got somebody that's got an ability 11 that you really love, you use them on your war team, you use them on your raid teams, anything like that. If you use them in multiple ways, go ahead and use that troop upgrade ability to boost him up. I was talking to some of the players earlier, and one of the things I was talking to my buddy Nightmare. He is a huge Black Arachnia fan, and I asked him, I was like, hey man, are you gonna take this and use your battle pass to go take your Black Arachnia to 11? He's like, absolutely. Like, why wouldn't I? So it's good to see that a lot of people out there understand the assignment, but at the same time, man, like, make sure you're using these things wisely. Don't just go use them for lower levels just because you're trying to rush through it. Like, use them efficiently, use them smartly. Alright, so a G metal XP core on that premium pass, and then we get all the 5-star shards. So if you can get premium pass and you get to 2,700 tokens, then you can get both the sets of 5-star shards, 1,000 for the premium and 500 for the free pass, in addition to your season 1 SG skins. So that's what the prizes look like. I think it's pretty impressive. I like it, and I think it's a good way to reward you for things that you do normally. So yeah, I mean, so let me know what you guys think about the rewards in the comments, and yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be the good way to go. And another thing that I like, so while I'm still talking about the good stuff, another thing that I like about this, and I'm gonna go back into the lab real quick. But another one of the things that I like is that we have these daily quests are kind of motivating for certain things. Like when I showed you some of the quests, they had the raid battles, and it was a small amount. It was like 40,000, which honestly, that's a small amount for me. 40,000 raid points. I mean, especially during the course of a month, 5-week saga. But so that's probably about 2 attempts for me. But yeah, man, I mean, it's encouraging people to raid. A lot of people just don't like doing raids, or they get, for different reasons. Some people get bored with raids. Some people just at the lower levels say the raids are too hard, too difficult, and so it discourages people. But if you know that you can try to grind your way to some additional goodies, then that might be an incentive to do it. Now, one thing I will say is Space Ape is saying that you only need to do roughly about 75 to 85% of the quest in order to complete the season. So maybe you still say that you don't want to go do raids, and that's perfectly okay too. Well, I mean, I take that. Well, depending on what kind of alliance you're in. So one of my recommendations for people is always to get in the right type of alliance, because in some places that's not going to be acceptable for you not to do the raid. Just like in certain places, it's like, hey, you have to war hard, and there's certain places where you have to just do events harder than every alliance has its requirements. But I do like the idea of encouraging people to play the game, essentially. So yeah, the daily quests are kind of motivating. They got a couple of different quests in there that are war related, whether it be not using combiners, or whether it be to win 5 battles without the combiner in the war. So you got different things that are encouraging people to war, which I see it like a lot of the lower levels and mid-tier levels, people don't want to participate in those things as heavily, the wars and the raids, just because they don't see value in it. They don't think it's enough rewards. Or there's a lot of guys that say, oh, well, you're gonna get most of your goodies in the events, so let me just do events. Well, do the stuff in addition to the events, and you'll wind up making out pretty good. Now, I want to talk about a couple of my concerns that I had with this Cyber Pass. And so the first thing is, honestly, I was a little bit annoyed by the delivery of somewhat. And the reason why I say that is because when this was delivered, they delivered this on, and I'm gonna go back to my screen real quick so you can see what I'm talking about, just in case anybody might have forgotten what was on I gotta find it real quick. But yeah, just so you can see what's on the actual battle pass again. So there were certain things up there that if you drop this on a Thursday right before event time, that it's like, hey man, you might not necessarily have enough time to complete. So I want to say the saga, the daily quest changed around 8 o'clock on my time, and so some people might not have had a chance to go in there and get all of those tokens for the daily quest changing, so that you could go get, like, say, like your fuel cap increase, which obviously is going to help you during an event. And also, let's see what else we got. Yeah, I think that was the main one was that you didn't get a chance to go get that fuel cell cap increase, and the Troop XP increase. Obviously during the event you playing in the Super XP event, and one of the things that you want to do is, hey man, you want that XP, and so I feel like it kind of robbed people out of their early opportunity by delivering it so late in the week. This is one of those things, we've been planning this for months. We've been testing it for quite a bit. Last week. Man, deliver it in a reasonable time, man. It's starting to become one of these things that's kind of irritating to me. Like, I want to say that when the Titans came out, the very first Titan Assault mode, I missed some of the points that I could have got in Titan Assault because, with my Alliance family, I'm an event planner. And, one of the things I was doing, I was so focused on it that I was like, you kind of ran out of time before it reset. And the next thing I know is reset, and I missed it because you only had a couple of hours to do it. So that's a real big issue for me. I don't like to see that. Like, put the stuff out in a reasonable amount of time. Put it up. You're gonna start something, put it out at the beginning of the week. Like, technically, and I get it, they trying to say that the saga begins when that event is get ready to start, but I mean, at the same time, man, you can bring it out earlier that day. It would have been much easier for me to grind to get up to the 500 tokens that I wanted for the Troop XP increase. It would have been easier to do that with a full day's worth of work, as opposed to I actually stayed up later last night to make that happen. So that's one of the things that I didn't necessarily like. The other thing that I didn't necessarily like is so Space Ape has already said that this is going to be as big as it's going, or they didn't say this is as big as it's going to get. What they said is they are basically rolling out the red carpet for us right now. They are making this as a really, really big first season 1, and I'm kind of curious if they're just dangling the carrot in front of us at this point. If they what will future seasons look like, because we already know they're saying that they won't look like this, and so that's one of the things where I do have my concerns. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna take myself out the screen for a second. Let's see what else. Another thing that got me is there were players talking about the possibility of, and this is going to sound weird to some folks, but folks are talking about the possibility of skipping events to try to chase rewards for the Cyber Pass. So I'll say this. You got over 30 days to try to go make sure that you get everything completed. And so to put some stuff in perspective, I'm actually going to go back to your Cyber Pass screen for a second, because one of the things that I was looking at was the amount, some of the rewards that you were getting. And so one of those, where is it? So you see down here, the fourth one from the bottom is saying win 400 battles, and for a lot of people, that was like, whoa man, we got to win 400 battles. And a lot of people opened up the Cyber Pass and got overwhelmed and just thought that it was too arduous, it was too much work. Hey, listen man, if you're playing the game regularly, these things are going to happen naturally. You have 30 days and 31 days when it started, and honestly, man, 400 battles, that's about 14 battles a day average. So it actually breaks down to about 13.3, I think it was, when I went to go do the math about it. So obviously you can't do a 0.3 of something. So about 14 battles a day throughout the duration of the entire Cyber Pass, and that'll keep you good. Actually, I said 50,000 earlier, and I said 40,000 earlier in raid points, but it's 50,000 raid points. you can already see 27 million and 500,000 alloy energon. I did that in a day. I mean, I kind of rushed through it, but I mean, really, that's probably with my average playtime, probably no more than 2 days of work, at the most. So I mean, like, a lot of these things are reasonable, and I got to see all of the different quests when I was in the playtester circle. These are some of the harder ones. They actually get a lot easier. Like, my advice to everybody is don't panic. Don't panic and think, hey man, this is a lot of work. Oh my gosh, like, why are they doing this? And some of the other complaints where they just want our money. Guys, it's a free to play pass too. And granted, you get some better stuff if you pay. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, that's reasonable. If you're paying, you're paying $10 for it. At least I am in US dollars. So it's not a bad thing. And it's not something that you need to skip over, any other obligations. Don't skip your wars for this. I mean, some of the wars are gonna have rewards for it, but don't skip that. Don't skip raids. Don't skip events to try to do this, because you're gonna have time and it's gonna get easier. And I don't know, I kind of like the way they did this, because imagine they go and add different stuff to the season, and it started off real easy, and all of a sudden it got hard, and then people started panicking and wondering, hey man, am I gonna make it or not? That would be a completely different conversation that everybody will be having on the official Transformers Earth Wars Discord than what they're having right now. But I mean, you do have to work for a little bit of this stuff, but it should be stuff that you're doing every day. So I enjoy it. I'm already hammering my way through it. One of the other bad things that I do feel about it is exactly what I said. Because I feel like you shouldn't be skipping over any other stuff. These weekend events are gonna take away from some of the times that you're gonna be wanting to do the Cyber Pass stuff, and particularly, like, I hope the stuff for, like, I know a lot of alliances don't do wars and stuff. In my alliances, we do war over the weekend, but some people don't. If that happens to pop up on your quest, then you kind of a tiny bit of a disadvantage for that. So it's one of those things where you have to kind of decide what do you want to try to go after. But at the end of the day, like I already said, you only need about 75% of these. So I mean, it may or may not be a big deal for you, but it is one of those things that I've already heard people talking about, and it is one of those things that has already crossed my mind as well. So it didn't surprise me to hear people talking about skipping over certain events or certain parts of the weekday stuff. But really, that's really my thoughts about it. I mean, I think it's going to be one of the better things to happen to the game. I think that it's going to be pretty awesome long term. I do wonder what the future seasons are going to look like. But honestly, man, like, it's not really a whole lot to say about it. I mean, I think it's pretty cut and dry that this is a good thing for the game. A lot of other games have it. I've only played a handful that have it, but in the games that I have played that have these things, I really enjoyed it and getting all the additional goodies. So it basically rewards the players who play regularly, and that's not a bad thing in my opinion. So other than that, like, I still do owe you guys, so I'm gonna go sometime over the weekend. I think it's gonna be, I'm gonna try to go do that. I still owe you guys that Shattered Glass Shockwave video. I had a lot of issues with my YouTube channel over the week. My hard drive on the actual computer actually got full, and so I had to go get an external hard drive, because we just don't have a lot of hard drive space on this particular computer. But it does help me with the graphics tremendously, because it's got a good graphics card, and then just like I said earlier, some other stuff in just real life. kind of popped up. But I said I still owe you guys that. I didn't forget about that. But what I did forget about is I said I was going to show you guys a tactic. And so I am going to show you that. So one of the things I was talking about, winning 5 battles with at least 3 warriors, right? And I'll just go ahead and do this in event. So this is a team that I've been working with, and they're not very strong yet, right? And this is the team I showed you earlier. That's only at 21,714 combined power. But what I've done is I've taken all my hologram bots and put them on the one team. So Nightbird's in here, decent enough. I hadn't really done too much with her ability or her power core, but I always try to put my bots in the order that I'm going to deploy them. And the reason why I put Nightbird in there first primarily is because of her speed. So if you look at her speed, she's at 2.4. When you look at Dinobot 2, he's at 2. And then when you look at, where do I got Blot? Oh, well, I didn't mean to do that. So let me put him back in the lineup. And then I got Blot over here. And so his walk speed is at 1.7. So he's a little bit slower, but he's also the carrier of my Micronus core. And the reason why I did that is so there's a better chance of him staying with the team. So the ideology here, if you look at the team build, is really to have three tanks essentially out there, but we want to have the 3 tanks with decent health. Blot being the more high health bot, but then you got Nightbird and Dino too to be able to take a little bit of damage. But they also had that hologram as well, and so because they had that hologram, you can use those to take a lot of the damage. So what I did in addition to that is I put Nightbird with Giza, so she can use Giza out there in the front to try to shorten some of the ranges, some of those defenses. And then I put Fangtron on both Dinobot 2 and Blot. So just additional protection and additional stun too for the defenses, and that helps slow everything down. Now I'll tell you what I did, because when we were originally talking about this, I was talking about this with my commander. Shout out to Trap for actually coming up with putting the concept idea in my head. But he had a bunch of different bots. He had bots like I think he had like Soundwave as one of the ones he was going to use to try to protect everyone. Yeah, mine's isn't that strong. Mine's isn't strong like his. He had the 5-star, I didn't. And so I said, well, you know what I can protect with is I can protect with these holograms. So I tried a different version of this, and we actually got the inside joke in our alliance family. Like, we don't even refer to this Hollow Walk team by name. We just refer to them as them, because it's kind of like the secret weapon that we've been working on a little bit in the background. But yeah, I mean, so it's, if you look at everything I got after the 3 hollow bots, they are all ranged attackers. So you got Swindle in here with the G1 core that I need to build up a little bit. And so one of the things that I did is I actually used Caliburst for him, just because his thing is adding more damage if you get fire, acid, EMP, or speed reduction, then it's going to be an increase. So I really struggled for a long time to figure out what I wanted to do with Caliburst, but then I said, well, you know what? This guy's got fire damage, both on, with his special ability and and it's enhanced by the G1 core. So I used that, and then I said, you know what? I want to enhance damage even further. So I'm going to use Kickback as one of these ranged attackers, and then I'm going to hit him with that artillery force attack core. So get some increase his special ability damage, but more so, I want to increase the damage of the regular attacks of all the gunners around me. So I left that core on him, and I added fire line because I wanted to add some more fire damage to kind of capitalize on that caliburst. Onslaught was one of my prior, for the longest time I had him as a war team bot because that's all I had at the time. But I got him with the Prime core, and so I just used him to just add additional damage all the way along. As a ranged attacker, and it's a decent SA, a decent special ability. Excuse me. And then I got Cutthroat on the team because I want to add some protection for these guys because when you get like pretty much all gunners in the back there, they're gonna become a little bit squishy, and so Cutthroat use his damage, or block some damage with his smoke bomb, and he also is my carrier, my Quintus Prime core, so that I can use those sharks to try to add an extra layer of protection. And I've got him equipped with Crater Maker, so he's shooting over walls. The same thing applies to my 5-star Blastoff, who's also equipped with Crater Maker, so he's shooting over walls. But with his EO core, I've got it set up so that he can one-shot quite a bit of defenses. Not everything, but he can one-shot quite a bit of defenses, and that'll help me a lot of times get rid of those force field disruptor cores, get them out the way so that I can lay down that smoke for Cutthroat. Now, so I'm in an event, so I've actually been able to successfully run this team, this 21k team in Prime Zone, but I'm gonna go ahead and run it here in the Zone 15 because I'm running my event right now. And this really works well a lot of times where you have a lot of front-loaded bases where everybody's got all their defenses and stuff loaded up there in the front. But one of the things that I liked when I was talking about the walk speed, I like the walk speed because you can see that a lot of times that range gets up there a little bit further for Nightbird than it does for some of those other hollow bots. But so now I'm just going to focus on popping outpost bots. Elita still wind up getting to my team, but it's all about protection. So I'm getting hit down there by beam lasers. I put the hollow down there to take the damage so I don't have to. And one thing I've been really consistent about, I've been telling everybody, if you got similar abilities on your bots, stagger them as much as you can, because when you stagger them, now I've got the hollow bot starting to kind of drop off, but at the same time I'm not wasting a bunch of ability points on these guys because they've already I use one of each. I use Nightbird, I use Blot. Now, like I said, this is a weaker team, so as I build them up, this will get a lot easier when I use it in some of the lower zones. Like, honestly, it went by pretty quickly, but at the same time, like it can take its toll. Yeah, see, in this case, it actually took me a little bit too long, so I'm gonna go ahead and try it again, just because, it works, and it's a situational thing. I've actually been able to use it successfully in wars, and it's been saving me from coining some of my war team bots. But yeah, it does actually kind of do the job. But it's like in that case, I kind of ran into the wrong situation when they were backloaded. Like on a lot of the front loaded bases, it's much easier to try to get that effectively. And then, like I said, man, I genuinely got like a pretty low level team right now. So this time I'm gonna actually let the tanks go out a little bit further, And Fangtron actually pops the first outpost bot. And now we'll use Nightbird to pop the others. And I like this because I like to take out some of the more threatening defenses while using blast off, that 5-star blast off. And so when I start to see mortars, beam lasers, I can just get those cleared out by using blast off, and then I can just let the rest of the team just kind of walk up. But between Giza being attached on Nightbird, and between each of those 3 tanks having hollows come out, it kind of takes care of itself. And so, like I said, you can see everything was kind of all just crammed into one spot on this particular base. Really, that's what it's good for. Like, if everything's front loaded, if everything's crammed up into one spot, those bases used to give me a really hard time. But this has really helped me out because these guys have just been able to really run and sustain a little bit of the damage up front. So the 5 ranged attackers just take care of everything else. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. So yeah, let me know what you think of that strategy, or if anybody's actually tried anything similar. I know a lot of times with the hollow walk, a lot of the guys will they'll use 1, maybe 2 tanks a bit, but I used all 3 just because one of the things I was looking at was that cyber pass, and I was looking at how on that you want to win those battles with at least 3 warriors. And so I was like, well, I already have that because I tried to use that team to try to complete it. But alright, other than that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off for the day. It's actually my birthday today, so I'm going to go hang out with the family a little bit later. But if you like my content and you like to wish me a happy birthday, go ahead and go down in the comments and say happy birthday, Freeze. Also, I'm gonna show some info here in a little bit, but I got a new outro to go along with my new intro. So it's gonna have all of my social media information up there. We're starting to get more people into my Discord server. We got a bunch of people in there yesterday primarily because people wanted to ask questions about Battle Pass, and so I've actually got that link in my about section of my channel. So check that out, and also check out my new outro. So I will see you guys next time. I still got to get you guys for another con highlight of the week. So my next con highlight of the week will be on that Shattered Glass sound wave, and so I look forward to sharing that with you guys. But alright, man, I'll see you guys out there on the battlefield. Freeze is out.